Hey, it's Big J, and today we're going to come at you from all sports related. And I got a guest right now. Right now, we're about to come in, but first, I'm going to say some things to my sponsor. My sponsor, I have a very positive sponsor who looks out for me. That's People of Color Beauty. It's a black-owned fingernail polish company based in Los Angeles. Go to peopleofcolorbeauty.com. It's peopleofcolorbeauty.com to see all the different products. And, they're also on Amazon. Okay, so now I'm clipping. So I'll stop right there. Okay, so we can figure this out. As I say, something ain't working. Over your head.
You want to do that radio? Still saying
I never seen it from that end. Okay, so I'm going back, okay? I'm gonna let you in. How you doing today, man? Alright. Basically, you're on all sports related. And let me introduce my guest. It's a long-time friend back in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Basketball against each other in high school. I'm not ashamed to say this guy was a handful. And those who played along, played with him, should know that. Cut out. We'll be okay. We'll be all right. Don't worry about it. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Mark? You joined the portrait. Okay. What about now? You do it? Mm-hmm. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, what was wrong?
It just kind of went out.
Oh, okay. Don't worry about that. Okay, so it might be a problem with the connection, but we're going to get through this. So basically, like I was saying, longtime friend, also a basketball opponent while I was in high school, and like I said again, this guy was a handful. Uh, pretty much so. He was definitely, if not the best player in the area, one of the top two players in the area, maybe three. But he was definitely to be respected on that court. Or if you didn't play correctly, you were going to have some problems with him. All right, he could score, he can do a lot. But I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Yes, my name is Marvin Bailey, and I'm glad to be a part of this podcast this evening. And again, I'm glad to be here, and I'd like to talk about how my basketball career started.
Yes, let us know about your journey and how it led up into athletics and everything, man.
Yes, I started. I'd say probably when I was around 10 years old. I was in Holy Family Institute, and that's where I started my journey at. I started playing grade school basketball, and I was actually playing guard for Holy Family at the grade school level, and I was pretty good, I guess. And as I got a little older, I would say I was maybe 10 years old when I started, And, I just kept progressing. And then eventually I got a little older. I'd say about 14, 15. I played for Avonworth High School. But I came from the elementary school and then transferred to the high school in the ninth grade. And me and another guy by the name of Joe Scott, we were like, both of us was like 14. We both was like 6'2".
Mm-hmm.
And we both started as freshmen at Avonworth. And I averaged, I think, about 15 points, about 8 rebounds as a freshman at Avonworth for Class A school. And I would say I started in progressing from there, and then they ended up winning like all freshman, all state freshman team. Me and the other guy by the name of Gay Gregory Jordan played at Shinley. We were like one of the top 2, 3 freshmen in the state of Pennsylvania, but definitely in Western PA. And then I ended up going to a group home as I got older at Holy Family. Then I got to the point where I wanted to go home and be with my family. So I ended up going back home. I made a decision. Bob Schultz was the high school coach at Avonworth. And it's almost as if he wanted to adopt me. But, I wanted to be with my family up on the Hill District, which is up on Alaquippa Street. That's where my family we grew up at. So I ended up going back home to be with my mom at like 16 years old. I transferred to Shinley High School to play for the Spartans. I
Mm-hmm.
played for Coach Yee, played there a whole year. We had a pretty good team around us, a bunch of athletes. Actually, Greg Jordan, a freshman that was a freshman with me, he was the starting point guard.
Gay.
Gay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I played with them for a year, and it was interesting because everybody was good on that team.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't play together. If we'd have played together, I felt that we could at least won city championship and maybe even had a shot at going to state, possibly, because we was loaded. We was about 8 or 9 deep. And I ended up, after the season was over, I ended up transferring out of there because I thought that transferring to Lawrenceville Catholic High School, I met a coach by the name of Kinky Holleran, and I was in the 11th grade, and I transferred into there, and that's when I noticed that out of nowhere, like my athletic ability just kind of went to a whole nother level. I remember the first game I played with Brace Lowe. He was, I think, a freshman. I was a junior. And that's when I played against Jim. We were all in the same conference.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think my first game, I think I might have scored maybe 30 or 40 points.
Yeah, you put that work in.
Yeah,
Not against us though, but podcast world. But
yeah,
he was definitely you had to pay attention.
yes.
Let's go back just backtrack just a little bit before we get into St. Lawrence and Lawrenceville Catholic. Holy Family Institute. Do you mind explaining to the public what that is? What
Holy Family Institute is like not a foster home, but it was like an orphanage for kids that, weren't able to live with their natural family. For some reason, it was a broken home, and, you would go there to a shelter and you would stay there with the Holy Family until you were like, until you were old enough to graduate from high school or whatever, because you would
Mm-hmm.
go from the institute to the group homes. And once you graduated to the group homes, you're in high school at that point.
Yeah.
You're like 17 or 18. And then you're out on your own once you finish high school. But I actually went there when I would have to say I was about 8 years old, man.
Oh
I
wow.
don't, yeah, I was rough. I was kind of rough when I was little. I was
Mm-hmm.
living with my grandmother. My mom wasn't really able to take care of me at the time. And some things happened, and my grandmother called the authorities on me at 8 years old. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
And they took me to the Holy Family Institute, to the shelter. And
Our backgrounds are similar, so I understand it wholeheartedly. But as far as that gives me an understanding how Rookie, and Coach Smith from Riverview, who this is your thing, but brung me down there to Oakmont the same year that you left Shenley, and we met up in the same conference because they knew of you from Avonworth because they were already at Riverview coaching, so they knew what you were capable of at an early age. Because I remember the one comment was made: if they would have known that not only was I available to get transfer, that if they would have known that you was available, they probably would have grabbed you too. They would at least try. You know what
Wow.
I'm saying? You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
but they didn't know you was on the move like that. They didn't know. They didn't know you were going to leave Shenley because y'all had so much, you know, up at Shenley. But then I understand on the other hand on why you had to make that move because there was a lot. I mean, that team was loaded. You had you, Norris, Gay, man, there's a bunch of
Clyde
guys.
Davis.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's a bunch of guys on that team, man.
Yeah.
Um, this did
Calhoun too. We had
yeah,
Big
yeah,
Cal, the
yeah,
jumper.
yeah, yeah.
We
Mike
was about
Calhoun.
8 deep. Les Squire, we was 8
Mm-hmm.
deep, man.
I played against Mike in college out in North Dakota.
Yeah, Mike Calhoun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that guy, man, he jumped out the gym, man.
Yes, he did.
He
Yeah,
was a high flyer.
yeah. Yes, yes. But you know, but go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm glad you took me back there to actually explain that to you, the Holy Family Institute. But I can honestly say that being that I went through that kind of led me to where I was able to flourish and play some sports and stuff of that nature. So there's a big positive side to being there, that what I went through, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But back to I think in Lawrenceville we was at. I was a sophomore. I mean, I was a junior, and we had a pretty good team, man. We actually were rated first Class A. We was the rated number one in the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And Jimmy could tell you we played against each other twice,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of ironic because we were rated number one in Class A, and I think you guys got in the top 5, right? 4 or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
Especially after y'all beat us, you know, at your
Right.
gym.
I jumped us up a little bit, a little tiny bit, but we ended up losing the game we shouldn't have to St. Edwards or somebody crazy. It was like, y'all just beat this team, but y'all lose to them. What's going on? You know, it's just hey, you're dealing with high school kids, so you never know. Sometimes you never know
Yes,
what you're gonna get. You know.
and I can talk about this because Jimmy knows he was. They actually, we was playing Aliquippa. They was on our schedule. They were AAA. We was Class A, and like Jimmy said, there was 2 of us. Like the Battle of the Marvins for Western PA, and Marvin Woods from Aliquippa actually.
Mm-hmm.
And Jimmy came and picked me up that day. Jimmy, how
Yeah.
about that? We was in the same conference.
Yeah.
Jimmy came and picked me up. Jimmy and Meach picked me up on Aliquippa Street from the house. We drove to the game, and it's
Quiet.
kind of wild. Jimmy said I was quiet the whole ride. I didn't have no rap. I had my little headphones on.
You did, man. Nothing to say. I said, "Oh, he focused. Somebody got a problem tonight."
And Jimmy, I forgot to tell you why I was like that too, because Spook was good as a freshman,
Yeah.
which is Marvin Woods.
Mm-hmm.
And he was all world.
Yeah, he was.
And this was a chance because he kind of like he was one of the guys that like matured early,
He got early exposure.
early exposure, yeah, through the camps and all that, the
Mm-hmm.
Garfinkel's and all that, and so they were saying that he was getting all this press and all this stuff, and they were saying Marvin Woods is the guy in the Western Pennsylvania. He's the superstar. Da 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 da. So I said I circled that on my calendar. We got out of Quippa at home, and it's the battle. It's the battle of the Titans. Marvin Woods versus Marvin Bailey, and I didn't say a word the whole way to the game,
Not at all.
but I was focused, and I said to myself, "I'm gonna prove to them who the real man is." We're gonna make some separations because I didn't really
It,
say much. I let my game do the talking a lot of
it didn't
times.
say much at all. I mean, got in the car, you spoke to us, but that was it. Got in the back seat, threw the Walkman on. I'm like, oh man, he ain't got nothing to say, and I know why. Because that night That was a great night for you. It
Yeah,
was
I
a great
had
night.
what I finished with Jimmy, like 35 and something,
Something
and
crazy like that.
3 or 4 dunks, and
Yeah. With the just throw it up. And I still say you missed that free throw on purpose just to get that. So I mean, it was just one of them games. Now
it,
Marvin
you,
Woods, he played.
mm,
I mean, he played like he was expected to play.
yeah, he
But
played the way he played
yeah,
what we expected.
yeah. But you took the show. No,
Yeah,
definitely, no doubt. Anybody, and I remember, and that's back before travel ball took over everything like it is now. College coaches were still coming to your high school games in 1983, 84, 82, 82. They were still coming, showing
mm,
up. And I remember in that gym that night, we talking Raleigh, we talking Tart, Gergerich, we talking who's who
Gail
of
Catlett,
coaches, Gail
Gail
yeah,
Catlett,
West Virginia, we talking all the big timers, all the big time guys you was seeing on the March Madness and all that. Those coaches was in that building that night because of you
yes,
two individuals. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
they knew. I think Tark already knew about you, but that was we'll let you get into that, but I think you did open some more eyes. There might have been some people that were sleeping that 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 got to see it. They woke up that night, because you definitely you dominated. And I got to say this. I'll never forget it. I'm sitting in the front row, and I discussed this with you. And me and Meech sitting there watching the game. We on the front row, and you got fouled, and you're at the free throw line, and it was I can't remember if it was a 2-shot. I think it was. It was a 2-shot foul. Got
mm,
fouled in act shooting, and you made the first one, but it was too perfect. It's like it came off the rim. Aliquip was all inside the paint, and nobody boxed you out from the free throw line. You come in and just went up 2 feet over and cocked it behind your head, and I mean it was embarrassing to them. It was like 1 on 5. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah.
and I said, he did that on purpose. I said, yeah. Did you do that on purpose, man?
Yes, I did. I did do that on purpose, man. I did that on purpose. I thought about it after you asked me that the other day, and I said, "Yeah." I said, "I'm gonna slam this. I'm gonna try to hit this off the back of the rim and just grab it. And who's ever under there,
Getting
they get in the business."
yeah. That's and but it was definitely a joy. But go ahead and talk more about your Aliquippa, not Aliquippa, but Lawrenceville, your senior journey. The recruiting got heated up, especially after that game. It heated up,
And
but
that was actually kind of jumped over a little bit because what I made my name for, well, that was my senior year.
yeah,
I made my name my junior year
correct.
from averaging like damn near 30 points a game almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But you remember that?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's when y'all beat us that year.
Mm-hmm.
When we both was juniors.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I told Jimmy, but Jimmy don't agree with me. I said, that's when my junior year, I think my game went from here to here.
I think it was already there.
But Jay says it was already there. And it probably was. I probably got mature in the mind, realizing I can, with my confidence. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I think it was.
Because
And
you were doing things that, even though we were in the same age, you were doing it more consistently than we were.
yeah.
And I don't have a problem admitting that you were doing it every night. You know what I'm saying? Every night.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember you having a bad game. Now you might look back at our Riverview score box and say, well, yeah, but that was scheme. And, that was done. We were coached well and we listened. So, that was more scheme. And then I don't know what happened when we went down there to y'all. We beat y'all again down there. Worse than we
I
beat
think y'all
y'all at our
just
place.
Yeah, I
You
think
know,
y'all had our number. Y'all knew how to play us.
it was our guards. It was definitely
Yep.
our guards. Our guards were really good. You know, Jeff Trebeck, he was good. He
Yep.
was special. Shoot was special. Um,
Y'all had
I
better
didn't get.
guard play.
Yeah, we had better guard play,
Sure.
no doubt. No doubt. And they just applied a lot of pressure. Where, you know, if Brace would have played against us, started the game, because I noticed that when he came in the game, that first year we played y'all, things picked up, but they would always go back to the other guys. You
Yeah,
know,
they
and
wasn't.
you know,
Yeah, they was
uh,
playing upperclassmen because Brace was a freshman.
right.
And then you said some things to Tony Lawson, who was the other. He was the
Oh,
senior.
yeah, I baited him.
Yeah, you took
I,
Tony out his game, man.
yeah, I baited him. Uh, And I couldn't believe I got to him like that. You know what I'm saying? But he fell
Yeah.
for it. And we didn't have a 3-point line.
Nope.
But Tony will shoot it,
He
right?
got a J. Did he have a J?
Yeah, the J. So we playing I remember that play. We had I remember because I got dunked on. So he we running a press against y'all. I'm back and I'm talking shit to him, talking mess to him to force him to shoot the bad. I want him to take the jump shot because I'm gonna just box him out, turn around, get the ball. We're gonna go down the floor. So he falls for it and takes the shot. Right? I mean, he was deep too on a fast break. I'm like, whoa.
Like a 3-pointer, huh?
Yeah. He shoots the ball. I box him out. I run to the rim. I'm ready to get up, go get it, go to snatch it. And all I hear is, get off the ball. Boom. I said, oh, where'd he come from? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, that's part of playing. And one thing I tell people all the time, when you play at certain levels of basketball, uh, if you've never been dunked on or not close to it or dunked on, you're not playing with nobody, man. You're not playing with nobody. Remember when Dikembe Mutombo used to tell Jordan, Jordan was like, okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's the same. Nah, if you play with good players, you're going to get dunked on. It's going to happen.
That's the nature of the beast, man.
It's just part of it. It's like in football with tackles. The best players get knocked on their butt. You know, it happens.
Yep.
You know, it happens. You just got to try to stay out of people's highlight films as much as possible. But it's hard to do when it's that quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's hard to do. But y'all had a really good team. So your senior year, you already talked about Aliquippa though, but
yeah,
you know,
let me go back real quick for 1 second here.
mm-hmm.
I remember my junior year. I guess I just came out of it like, and people knew about me, but I kind of like, you're going to know about me. That's the way I played. And you know, Jay, I was a rebounding king too. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
There was games when I snatched 30, 35 rebounds.
Yeah,
People don't believe that, but
it's true.
40 points and 30 rebounds.
Yeah,
I did that a few times.
And it wasn't against bad competition. You know, didn't you dunk on Dallas Comedies? In AAU?
Yep. I dunked on Comedies and Rico Washington. Remember Rico Washington from Philly?
From Philly, yep.
He was like the best player in the country or something. One of them, wasn't he?
Well, he was a
grown man.
He was a grown man. He was built like a tight end. Like he should be having a helmet on, running routes. That's what he was built like. And he was a senior in high school. That man was muscled up. He ended up going to school.
Did he go to Georgetown?
No, he went to out northwest where I went to junior college out. He was out there in Idaho. And in the Big Sky Conference. And he put some work in. He did play 4 years. Yeah, he did. He played 4 years up there. And but it was quiet. He didn't I mean, think about it. He was a down low player and he was I think he was my size or smaller. He just was wide.
He was just built like a Hulk. That's all.
Yeah, and he could jump. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, and he had a lot of confidence. He was very physical. Rico Washington was a good player. Did Pooh play with y'all in that Brown Ball Classic?
Pooh Richardson. No, we had Junie Lewis and the one guy that went to Temple. I forgot his name. We had a few Philly boys. We had Tyrone Thornton. Junie Lewis. Oh, I got the round ball book. You know, I could just look in there, but
Yeah, just
it
go
got
ahead.
a
You got the round bubble?
yeah. You want me to look at it?
Your.
Yep.
Yeah, I just want to know who. Maybe did Pooberson come out? Maybe he came out the year before us.
I think Pooh was a year before us, Jim. I could
Okay,
be correct. I could be wrong, but dang, I don't think I have it handy.
that's okay. That's
That's
okay.
okay.
Yeah.
But it was the best of the best in Pennsylvania, actually.
hmm
You know,
Basketball was a lot different back then. You know, it's more football in PA. It was always football in PA, but basketball was a lot better, um, especially on the eastern side of the state. And then you had, of course, Western Pennsylvania. You had players, some players that were D1, and you know because it was an urban core, so you're gonna have those guys. But Philly definitely always had more, uh,
the
you
bigger
know,
city,
bigger city,
city, you know.
and then the closer you got to like where Rod Brookins and them was from, Stilton, PA, in the middle of the state. Billy Owens up to Syracuse. He went to
Mm-hmm.
Carlisle with Jeff Lebo.
Dallas
So yeah,
Comedies.
he's from Philly, right? Roman Catholic.
Yeah.
Pooh was from Philly. Junie was actually from Philly.
Yep.
So yeah, it was good basketball back then. The '80s it was a good time. And prior to me and you know, Gene Banks, who played at Duke, played in the NBA several years. He gave the MVP trophy to Sam Clancy down at the Round Ball Classic because Sam had a great game.
Mm-hmm.
But they gave it to Gene Banks because of the notoriety of him, you know, because he was the best player in the country, whatever. But he was like, nah, this man put that work in tonight. He's getting his MVP trophy. So I thought that was a stand-up guy to do something like that. But yeah, so it's always been good. But Ozanam, and like I tell people nowadays, and when you play, you got all these different travel teams around the country in different cities. You might have 10 travel teams in a city. Maybe 3 or 4 of them may be elite. Maybe 2 might be elite. Um, and then you might have an independent. You might have a shoe company. That you might have a team that sponsors this shoe company, Adidas or Nike. But back when me and you were playing, there was one organization that ran the travel team, and if you didn't play for them, you didn't play.
Right.
And that was Ozanam. Let's talk about Ozanam a little bit.
Ozanam was
I think it played a big part in both of our basketball
yes,
journeys.
yes. That AAU helped my game so much because I played on the traveling team.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Louisiana. We went to the AAU Nationals, right?
Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I'll never forget that.
Mm-hmm.
We was playing against the best of the best in the country, and like Jimmy said, there was 2 teams. There was like a
Travel team,
travel team.
which is your elite team nowadays, and then you had the select team, which is where I played. I played on the select team,
Mm-hmm.
and then they had some guys on the travel team that would bounce back and forth just to make sure we had a nice roster. Because
Right,
when we went out of town, we could still represent. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah, because
So,
y'all went out of town a few times too, right?
but we didn't go where y'all went. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? We went to different places, or we went behind y'all. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Did we take a plane in down? We took a plane down there, right?
Y'all did. We didn't
Wow,
go to. We didn't get to go to Baton Rouge. Uh,
that
we
was
went
like
to.
the national championship down there,
Mhm.
AAU, right?
Yeah, we went to places like Philadelphia, Baltimore, West Virginia, Charleston, West Virginia. Uh, yeah, because Murph coached us.
Yeah.
hmm
Murph was like the assistant coach, but he coached your team.
Yeah. hmm Yeah, but it was cool. It was cool. Uh,
Yeah. Hmm.
but go ahead, talk about your play in those and that. I mean,
Oh
how.
yeah, Ozenham. Like Jimmy said, it was like the mecca of basketball in the city. Up at Ozenham, everybody who played there was who of who. Anybody that was great in basketball came through Ozenham.
Yep.
That was just the starting blocks
hmm
to see where you really were. You found out how really good you are playing for Ozenham.
Because not only did we have a travel teams, you had a league.
You had the league, yes,
Right.
and everybody played in that league. Sam Clancy, Darrell Porter. We can go on and on and on. David Jones,
Sean Miller.
Sean
Uh,
Miller.
yeah, a bunch of people locally. Um, Yeah, but everybody. I can't think of anybody that did not play in that. If you unless you just moved there late, but other than that, you played in OZ
And
either at the Brashear site, the Reisenstein site, or the Hill site. I was always at
it,
the Hill. You
and it
know,
wasn't it Western PA too for all the teams and schools that wanted to get a team in there, or was that
yeah,
just
you could. They usually put them at Reisenstein. So
okay?
a lot of the high school teams played 19 and under and 16 and under at the Reisenstein location because it was three divisions. Reisenstein, Brashear was indoor, and then Granville. You had the upper court, Granville. Then you had the one behind that set down that was lower. You had those courts, but Granville to me, I don't know, playing for Ammons because I played for Ammons, John
Hmm.
Bird, and in the league I did. I played for Ammons, and it was
Nothing
just
like that.
it was nothing like it, man. It was nothing like it. It was you better bring it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because because you playing up there in a situation where everybody got something to prove. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Everybody got something to prove. So you know, and it got to the point where people thought I was from the Hill because I was up there so much. You know, and I'm like, I'm not from up here. I'm from Lincoln Limington out that way. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the east
yes,
side. But if you got games all the time, you always up Ammons or Granville and all that. Your face is just numb. Like I tell you, who's up there all the time? Junebug.
yes. I
You
remember
know?
that. It's funny that you say that because I played. Well, he played on the players. Petey
Mhm.
Rose. You remember Petey Rose, right?
Yeah,
He was the coach of the players. That was the 18 and under team, right? Or
yeah.
17.
You talking about Mr. Morris, Petey
Yeah, with
Morris, Jason's dad?
no, Petey Rose from he coached the players with Jim Bay and
Oh,
Junebug, right? And
yeah,
David Jones and all them. Remember that?
yeah. He
Now,
played for them.
Did Steve Vanderbilt play on that team too?
I don't remember that. I don't remember because I know Fleming would have had them playing in Reisenstein in the high school portion of the division. Uh, but I don't know. Steve may have played. I need to get in touch with him. But yeah, he may have played.
I think
Uh,
Steve and I know Dave Jones played because Dave Jones was a high rasher.
yeah, Dave was a
I'm,
Street and Smith All American his freshman year. Yeah.
and Jim Bay and Junebug. Let me
Mm-hmm.
tell you something. I played down at the younger age, 16 and under. It was me and guess who? Moon,
Mm-hmm.
Marvin Bivens. We was loaded, man. We had every little Fly Davis. We played on a small court down there,
The one. Yeah,
the
yeah,
low one.
yeah.
And then we would go watch them play at night, man. Shoot,
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
remember that.
yeah.
But me and Big Moon, we was giving it to him down on that little court, though.
I didn't know that y'all played with each other that young. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we played down there. I think it was either was it 16 and under or 15 and under, one of the two. But you started there. You had to
Mm-hmm.
work your way up to the big leagues.
Yeah. Unless you played 14, if you played 14 and under, then during the daytime, that was when the league took place. You got to get that big court. If it was 16 and under, depending on who you were and who you played for, you play on the lower court or the upper court. 19 under definitely played up top. You know what
19
I'm
and
saying?
under, yeah, and 16 and under down at the little court.
Rep played up.
And and it's kind of, I remember them years, man. It was just like you said, we was all just like, you had something to prove up there. Everybody was trying to make a name for themselves because
You didn't want to get embarrassed,
you had to bring it up there because everybody was up there.
right?
Especially when the 19 and under played.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That that was the whole Western Pennsylvania, wasn't it?
Yeah, there were some good players in that, and because you jumped. Wait, did you play 19 under earlier than us?
I think I played 19 and under. Did I play 19 and under or did I just stop at 16 and under? You know what's weird, Jimmy? I don't remember, but I know I remember playing 16 and under. I don't know if I played 19 and under. Did I?
Okay, I don't remember either. I don't because I know I didn't. Uh,
I don't
when
think I played 19 and under. I think at that point, I think I was more playing because Avonworth and them had their own leagues. Then I
eh,
was playing in their summer league. That
okay,
that next year I played for them, right? Me and the other kid, Joe Scott, we played for Avonworth like 17 or 18 and under. But
I
I was
didn't.
nervous because I
I,
was playing with the older
yeah,
seniors and
that's what I was
stuff
about
like
to
that.
say. You playing with older, you younger, you know. But yeah, basically with OZ, like I heard Dap, Darrell Porter, and Karen Hall are doing tremendous jobs with it.
Yes.
Um, trying to
Fantastic.
trying to pick up and keep it going like Mr. Coleman had it going, you know.
Yes.
And I hope that succeeds. I'm gonna try to get Bill for them on here because they need to be that needs to be turned because they both were tremendous basketball players too,
Yes.
you know.
And they still running those and keeping it going. Like you said, they're
Mm-hmm.
still doing yeoman's work, you know?
Mm-hmm. Good stuff, you
Yep.
know. So what about your recruiting, man?
Oh wow, that was a frenzy, man.
Go ahead, it's
Um,
yours.
I had I had everybody was recruiting me, especially I think going to my senior year to see me and Woods play. After that game, I was getting letters from Pitt. Uh, I tell you all came to my school. Gail Catlett came to my school from West Virginia. Tim Gergerich came to my
Vegas.
house. He came to my house from Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows Tim Gergerich.
Yeah.
He came into my house and met my family, and that really like got to me, and it was like that meant a lot to me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I pretty much was even Pitt was recruiting me. Seth Greensburg, you know, he called me. He called me up there, and I did a visit up there, and he was always talking to me every day, and they wanted me. And who else? They said Georgetown, but Villanova, Raleigh, and
Mm-hmm.
them was interested in me too.
Mm-hmm.
And but I found that Vegas was really, really really going all out for me. And what had ended up happening was I played in the Dapper Dan Roundball Classics for the PA team versus the US team.
USD. Mm-hmm.
And not everybody knows Sonny Vaccaro.
Nike
He's the
guy.
founder of them. He's the founder of them high school all star games.
Right. And he brung Mike to Nike.
Yes,
So Sonny D's respected in Pittsburgh because he's from Penn Trafford. So
yes,
yeah, and he always give love to Pittsburgh. So all
yes.
any chance he get, you
And that
know.
Roundball Classics, that's everybody's dream because you know to play in that game, you got to be to play in the big game. You got to be exceptional. You know that,
That's
Jim.
like the McDonald Classic now. It's like the
Yes,
McDonald game. Matter of
yes.
fact, the Dapper Dan, the PA Brown ball game was before the McDonald game. You know, then
Hmm.
because they had the Capital City Classic, which was in D.C. You had the
Right.
PA Round Ball. They had something out west, but sometimes that guys didn't really because you remember you only still could play in certain amount of All Star games.
So many, like one or two, right?
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, the PA Round Ball. Every I can't. I don't. I like to meet somebody that played basketball in the city of Pittsburgh or Western or even Philly. Don't matter. The whole state that didn't want to represent the PA versus the US team. You
Yeah, that's
know.
why I said it's the top of the chain, food chain with the round ball classes because
Yeah.
who's ever who in the state, and there's only a selective few. What 10 people on the team, maybe
Yeah.
12, maybe,
Whatever. Yep. Mm-hmm. You
and
know, because you got two teams. You got the PA, the big game, which is like the varsity game. That's PA versus USA. And the USA teams be loaded. So the PA team has to be loaded to be up to keep with them. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
because
to even be able to play with them, right?
right, so uh, and then you have the I don't know if they still have it, but back then you had the WPIL versus the City Catholic League All Stars.
Yes.
And that was the first game. And if you made that game, everybody was happy. That's cool.
Yeah, you still good. You still exceptional.
You still
If
playing
you
in the
played in that
arena.
game,
You
you still
playing in
played in the arena in front
the
of. And who all comes to them games, James? All the top school coaches come.
yeah. You want to come
John
see it?
Thompson, all of
Mm-hmm.
them. Jim Boeheim,
Yeah. They don't want to.
Raleigh Massimino.
Everybody. You know,
Everybody's there.
not just your Division two coaches. They're there too. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But yeah, it's everybody. They're the UA. The USA team. I remember the one year. This is our junior year. We went down to the game and they had Muggsy Bogues, Reggie Lewis, uh, Ricky Winslow. What they played with.
David Wingate and all them guys.
Wingate was already a freshman at
Yeah, Wingate
Georgetown.
was a freshman. But
They were
that was
loaded.
that Dunbar team that was great.
Yeah.
Now was Reggie Williams down there then too?
Yeah,
Or?
him and Tyrone Muggsy Bogues played on the same U.S. team against PA. You know, they had Pearl on that team. Just
Yeah,
come on.
because they had Mark Jackson too.
They had
Because
Mark Jackson, Pearl, and Muggsy Bogues all on the same team, man.
you know
Well,
what's crazy, Jay? They would scrimmage. Our practices was over at CCAC
mhm,
for the round ball team,
right,
and then they had the tryouts. I'll never forget this. I didn't have to try out, right?
right.
Moon had to try out, right?
Why?
So but you know what he did though, right?
No,
He
I
had
didn't never
about
hear
10 dunks. He had about
it.
10 dunks.
He just slingshotting on people, huh? That's his
He
signature.
said to me, he says, you know what, man? He said,
R.I.P.
I can't
Bailey.
believe I got to go down there and try out, but he said, I'm gonna make them pay for it.
Yeah, are they out of their minds? What did they think because he played for Westinghouse?
But listen, they was playing their big team, the USA guys, Charles Smith, and that's who we played, D Gore and all them,
Yeah,
Gary Grant and Charles Smith and all them. So Moon had to scrimmage against them guys, man,
he was
to
pissed.
show that he could. But you
I
know what he did, right?
like dunked on everybody every chance he got. I already know. They probably like, oh, we won't do that again.
Yeah, they made him mad, man. You know how he was.
Yeah, R.I.P. man, Tyrone Howard.
R.I.P. Mooney,
Yeah,
Big
yeah,
Moon.
yeah, man. But he had a pretty. He ended up playing with the Harlem Globetrotters. And,
Yeah, Eastern
yeah,
Kentucky,
yeah. So he did his
but
thing.
that was a great time, man. That Sonny Vaccaro, we played against. They had everybody. Charles Smith, the P8, the U.S. team. We played against Demetrius Gore,
Mm-hmm.
uh, uh, the dude from Michigan, the other guy, Gary Grant.
Mm-hmm.
They was loaded, man. They had everybody, and we held our own though. We played pretty well, and they ended up winning, you know. But it was like I said, the round ball classics. That was the beginning of any high school and the prestigious, the biggest high school basketball game, all star game as far as that, you know, way before McDonald's and the Capitol
Right,
Classics.
correct. You know, so and what led to the recruiting? Like, would tell us a story about some of the recruiting trips you went on, or
Oh,
and
okay, yes. I went on. I went to Las Vegas and visited there a few times, and R.I.P. Rest in peace. Orman Gilliam was my chaperone because he knew me from Pittsburgh. He played at Bethel Park High School. They
mm-hmm.
called him the Hammer. Everybody know what the
Yeah,
Hammer is.
Hammer.
Again,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, rest in peace. He
Mm-hmm.
played 15 years in the league, right?
Yeah, he did well. Yep.
And I went out there with those guys and Tim Gergrich and them and Tarkanian. They they was really heavily recruiting me. They put me in a junior college out there, Mount San Antonio. That's where they had Jarvis Bass Knight. He played there. Then he transferred into Las Vegas. That's what they wanted me to do. Play there for a year or 2 years, and then transfer. But I ended up going out there. I did well. We had a pretty good team, and a couple of our guys on the team went D1, but they
Mm-hmm.
were already June. They were already June considered their 2 year. They were 2 year guys, so they would transfer. The one guy went to Texas Christian. I think the other guy went to one of them Pac-10 schools. Was it the Pac-10 back then, or
Yeah, it was. It was
yes,
Pac-10.
yeah. Some one of the other guys went there. We went to the playoffs. They had the JUCO playoffs where it was like a national title type thing with the the 48 top,
Mm-hmm.
the 48 tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it or not, the JUCO had that too, and we went to the nationals. We didn't really, we won a couple games, but everybody from around the country is involved with that tournament,
Yeah.
just like the March Madness.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up doing well there. I ended up averaging about 15 points, about 10 rebounds
As a freshman.
as a freshman. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the coach of the team, him and Tarkanian were like best friends. And they recruited me. They recruited me heavy. I actually went out there 3 times. So I ended up leaving Pittsburgh and going out there my freshman year. And they wanted me to stay an extra year, but I wanted I wanted to transfer into Vegas after my first year, and they said, "Well, we want you to stay another year," and I just didn't want to do that. So I ended up coming back home, and I ended up playing with the guys at the pit house, at the field house, Charlie and all them, and Demetrius. I knew them guys. I know them guys the way I know you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And they was trying to get me to come to Pitt, man, but Curtis Akins pulled me to the side. They had Jerome Lane. They was loaded.
Yeah, they were.
Gatlin, Charles
Yeah,
Smith, Demetrius Gore,
and a lot of people don't realize.
Gooden,
A lot of people don't
Rod
realize
Brookins.
they were. A lot of people don't realize Keith Gatlin even played for Pitt. They don't remember that, but Keith Gatlin, because he transferred to Old Dominion, and then played double figures at Golden State, the
10
Warriors.
years, yep. About 10 years in
Mm-hmm.
the league with Golden State,
Yeah,
right? And
yep.
he was starting, he was good too.
Yeah, he was decent. Real
I
good.
you know what he told me one day when we was playing pickup up at the field house?
Mm.
And then I even took my man, Cooper, his dad was the first guy in the
Chuck
NBA from the
Chuck Cooper
Celtics.
Jr.
Chuck Cooper Jr., my man.
Mm-hmm.
Chuck used to come and get me, man. We'd go up there and play with them guys up at the field house. And it was really like, they was kind of, Chuck was like, well, you thinking about going to Pitt? And I was like, Gatlin came to me and said, man, he told me, he said, look, man, there's too many guys here, man. I'm transferring to Old Dominion. He told me that. And he
Mm-hmm.
did. And how
Yeah.
good he was. That tells you that really wouldn't have been probably an ideal spot for me because there was just so many players. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a lot of y'all.
Not saying I couldn't play. I would be able to play, but, you
Hey, it would
want to
have
go
been
somewhere.
your minutes would have been tough,
Yeah.
because who was the coach? Evans was the coach,
Paul
and
Evans, yo.
he would have seen you as another cog, so he would have been running y'all in and out. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And the only person that probably would have played a lot would have been Charlie. He hardly ever came out unless he needed a break. That was it. I mean, when you think about it, that was even Demetrius, he's RIP because Demetrius Gore has passed away.
R.I.P. D. Gore, yes.
Yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
but he used to pull him, so he might have did that to you,
Let me tell you something, man. Demetrius Gore, he was phenomenal, man.
Yeah, he's a good
Rest
player.
in peace.
Mm-hmm.
He did it all, man. Actually, I think he was Mr.
He was
Michigan.
Mr. Michigan. He was his senior year. He was Mr. Michigan, from the city of Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what high school he went to, but yeah, he was Mr. Michigan, and that's big because Mr. Michigan. There's a lot of ballers come out of there.
Yes.
So if you get Mr. Michigan, you put in that work.
And you might have been player of the year being Mr. Michigan in high school.
Correct. Most likely.
Yes.
So yeah, he was a good player. But yeah, they did seem to be, I don't know, it didn't seem like there was enough basketball. And then he had that big recruiting class.
Yeah.
With Dapp and Miller and Jason Matthews. He brought all those
Curtis Akins.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about that freshman class. Remember that freshman class with Dapp?
Yeah, they was loaded. They was already there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like.
And did Darrell and Sean came in, right?
Mm-hmm. And
Bobby Martin. Loaded, man.
Bobby Martin from New Jersey.
Yeah, they was ranked when I was up there, when I transferred back here, them guys was ranked in the top 5 or maybe 2 or 3. Remember that?
Yeah, at one time they were ranked number 1 in the country. Yep. Because they knocked off Kansas. Kansas was ranked number 1, and they knocked off Kansas during the season.
Right.
And they jumped to number 1. Then they ended up losing to somebody in the tournament they shouldn't have lost to.
I think Barry Coheen hit a jump shot on him or something from half court.
Vanderbilt. That is right. Barry Coheen. They won in overtime too.
Yeah, because they was picked to go Final Four, wasn't they?
Yep. And got knocked off. Got knocked off in 16, round of 16. Yep.
I'll never forget that. I was actually watching that game. But to make a long story short, Curtis Akins, we already know he's from Buffalo, New York. Curtis he was first team All-American in high school. He's a parade All-American. He averaged 40 points, right?
Yeah.
In high school.
He could score it.
So he comes to me and he says, well, you know what, Marvin? I think an ideal spot for you to at least think about or go look into is Canisius, because Canisius is up in Buffalo, and that's where Curtis is from.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I know McCarchick. He's the head coach, and I think you should go up there and I even I guess he told me he was even he mentioned him to me, and then they called me right away, And I took Curtis' advice. He said, "Oh, it's kind of similar to Pittsburgh, but it's all flat. You know, it's a similar city." But he said, "Marvin, if I was you, I would at least go up there and visit."
Mm-hmm.
So I flew up there to visit. They flew me up, and right away I felt like, dang, this is nice, man. I felt like what Curtis was telling me. This is like, yeah, this ain't far from home. 3 hours away on the road driving.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to meet McCarchick, and I got to meet the players. They had history too. Ray Hall and Mike Schmeck, those guys. I know Mike Schmeck played in the league, but I went up there, man, and I fit right in, man. I liked it. They showed me a good time. And I ended up going to Canisius. I ended up going there, but I had to sit out because I transferred.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to sit out to play 3 years, but I had 4 years to graduate. And I ended up starting there my sophomore year. And I played with a guy by the name of Jeff Taggart, rest in peace. Jeff, he was from Western New York. And it was kind of ironic because he was a sophomore too, like me. And he came out when I came out. I was Western PA Player of the Year, and he was Western New York Player of the Year. So me and Jeff became real good friends. And Jeff, we were playing Niagara, and next thing I know, Jeff was, he fell out or whatever in the during the game, and we was downtown Buffalo at the auditorium. We was playing University of Niagara, and they came, and the ambulance finally came, and they took him, to the hospital, took him out in the ambulance, and of course, Jeff ended up passing away,
Mm-hmm.
and it was saying that he had like a rhythmic heart
Skip a beat.
and skip a beat, yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
that really took that took its toll on me because again, like I said, me and Jeff, we bonded, we were real close, we became like brothers, and then McCarchick, the one that recruited me, he ended up leaving. He
Mm-hmm.
took the job with I think Manhattan or somebody, and then they brought in this other coach, Marty Marback. He was Raleigh Massimino's assistant head coach, and they won the championship with Georgetown. You remember that Georgetown team, right?
They knocked off Georgetown in the national title game.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Villanova knocked him off, and then he was like spoken highly of. Oh, this is Raleigh Massimino's head coach. He's got a national championship under his belt. He got the ring and all this. So we was excited to get Mar back, but for some reason, it just like after Jeff had passed, I kind of like it took a lot out of me, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
took a lot out of me, and I ended up. I think that was my sophomore year, and then Marback came. McCarthy left my junior year, and then Marback came, and Marback pretty much. I mean, he come from Villanova and everything, but he kind of like he wasn't like McCarchick. He didn't have the guys. He didn't discipline the players, and McCarchick kind of reminded me of not a Billy Knight, but he had that mentality, like
Oh, like Bobby Knight.
like
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Knight, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Marback was more laid back, and the guys were just we didn't play together. I mean, we was just like nobody was listening. Everybody was pretty much we wasn't playing together as a team, but we was loaded, but we just didn't play together. And then I think that summer after I think it was my sophomore year, my junior year, that summer, I think I was playing in the league up there. We had not to jump around, but we got the Connie Hawkins League here.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest of the biggest. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
played in Connie Hawkins up in East Hills. Anybody,
Right.
Sam Clancy, even the pit players, Charles Smith, all of them. We could
Mm-hmm.
go back and just name some legends from Pittsburgh. Everybody played in Chuck Cooper. Everybody played in up at East Hills, Connie Hawkins.
Yeah.
That's his
Or
name after the Hawk.
or the George Du Brown League of Kennard now. It
Or
used
the
to be down,
George D. Brownlee, yes.
but it used to be down
Yep.
Fifth. But now, yeah. Mm-hmm. Used to be
Yeah,
on
we
Fifth
was young
Avenue.
down Fifth watching the Duke
Yeah.
Brown League down
Yeah.
on Fifth Avenue.
Yeah. That is. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right next to the high school. Yep. That's straight hood.
So we Hey, Jim, you know, we was 14, 15 years old watching Clancy and Big John Marshall and all them guys, Bobby
Yeah,
Bird.
yeah. John Marshall, man. But okay, so what happened with the break at Buffalo? I mean, in Canisius. So you had to sit out a year.
Yes.
So they.
I had, after Taggart passed, I was playing in the Randy Smith League. I was getting to that and I kind of jumped over a little
That's
bit,
my
but
fault. Go ahead.
we was playing in the Randy Smith League. I played against Clifford Robinson because you know he was from Buffalo. He played. This was like the Connie Hawkins League or the Dew Brown League up there. Randy Smith, he was all world in the NBA. It
Mm-hmm.
was the league was named after him. And Lester Rowe, you remember Lester Rowe from West Virginia? Jump out the
Yes.
gym.
Yep.
Let me tell you something, man. Buffalo had some talent, man. And we were playing a game up there, and you know, I ended up having a few seizures because I had an epileptic condition
Mm-hmm.
and fell out during the game. And they ended up telling me, you know, that we're not going to let you play anymore. You know, and I kind of understood that because of what just had happened. Rest in peace, Taggart.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I was devastated. It kind of like took more out of me. And I ended up having to you know, back then I didn't know what to do. I got some advice, maybe talk to an attorney and see what you can do about it. But they had put in the paper that I had brain damage
Mm-hmm.
and that I couldn't play anymore. And that wasn't the case. But what they did was they said, I guess I was like really, really making a big stink about it. And, you know, and they was like, cause I was still going to go to school because I had my scholarship. But
Mm-hmm.
then I don't know, something happened one day. I can't recall what exactly happened. They pretty much said that they called me in, you know, the coach and all them are back and the team doctor. And they said, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put you on a 10-week program because of your medical condition. And we're going to have you go to the hospital, the Buffalo hospital, and you're going to have to get your blood drawn every week, once a week, to make sure you're taking your medication. Because that's why I was really having them. I wasn't taking my medication.
Mm-hmm. Is that what
So
you saying? That's what they said, or that was actually taking place? You weren't taking it.
I wasn't taking it.
Did it make you feel lethargic or something like that? Like
I
kind of.
just was, it kind of made me like, I guess it was more like, I just like, well, dang, I don't want to take this. I didn't want to come to grips with that. I needed to take it. You know, I was young.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't need to take that. I'm good.
Right.
Yeah, but after that happened, I kind of realized, I kind of woke up and said, you know what, I need to take this because now we're talking about your health and you in general, your life, you know.
Yeah.
So I agreed to it, and I used to walk down there once a week because again back then, and you know, it was down almost near town. I would walk down there, get my injection, and draw my blood, and that went on for about 10 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, they put an article in the paper, well, Bailey's coming back, and
And I
but
read that article.
yeah, Bailey's coming back. The Grips are getting Bailey back, and they talked about how I was one of the second leader scorer on the team, and I led the team in rebounds, averaged like 15 points, 10 rebounds a game. And Bailey's coming back. It was a big thing for them, for me to get me back. But I
Mm-hmm.
still, JJ, until today, I still know that it wasn't the same anymore, man.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of was like with everything going on with, you know, Jeff, and then that
Mm-hmm.
happening. It's kind of like, I'm not going to sit here and say I didn't want to play anymore, but I kind of like lost the desire, the hunger to be as good as I could be, you know, and maybe one day just blossom into to improve my game to get better, maybe have a chance down the line of, you know, playing ball, making some money or something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up coming back, and the season was almost 2/3 way over. And we played here. We played Robert Morris here, and we played Duquesne here, I believe. And they were here. So I could have came and played here in front of my family and in front of my friends, you know. But that 10-week period took me out of that, took me out
Yeah.
of the games. And I ended up finishing playing that year, and I just think after that, like I made all conference as a sophomore. I
Mm-hmm.
made the all conference team in the North Atlantic division, and like I said, I think I finished playing my senior year, but it just wasn't like I just think the desire wasn't there anymore because once I graduated from Canisius and I was finished and I came home, I was only maybe 22 years old, maybe just turned
Mm-hmm.
22, and I had an opportunity. I had an agent who reached out to me. He wanted me to contact him. He was an agent for players overseas, and I just never contacted him. I actually quit playing when I was, I think, at the age of 22. I didn't play anymore because when I came home from school, I didn't even play in the leagues. And
Right, you didn't.
people were always saying, "Well, why ain't you playing, man?" Everybody wanted me on the team, but I didn't want to play anymore. Jay,
Yeah,
I didn't want to play.
I did always wonder that why you didn't play in the summer league when you came home, but it's like you was just done with it. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
and then a lot of people they just missed out. They didn't get to see Marvin Bailey that we got to see, and
The maturation, huh?
yeah, they didn't get to see that. But and then there's people because when they mention certain names, uh, for whatever reason, I'm not gonna let them forget, but they sometimes your name's not mentioned when it should be as one of the best to come out the area because you didn't play that long afterwards after leaving high school and you went out of state, so people lost track. You know what I'm saying? And,
Mm-hmm.
and then the younger, they don't know. But some of the guys my age and guys that played against you and played with you, we know who you are,
Yes.
and we remember you, and that's why I wanted you, to talk about your journey here, you know, and now, I I was in law enforcement. Me and you started hanging out together a lot, going to the gym, working out.
Yes.
Um, and we both didn't play ball no more at that time. I think the last game I played in was a benefit game, housing authority versus I know Rocky and him was on the team. No, not Rocky. It was what's his name? He from the Hill. He used to play for the Echoes and could shoot it. Trent.
Oh, yeah, Dr. Death. Yeah.
Yeah. We played the game up the field house, the old Fitzgerald field house. And that was what, 99. And then I used to, that was the last time I got up and down to 94 like that. Like,
Oh,
like,
you played with the Dew Brown League back then in
no,
'99?
no, not 99. But I played, this was the last time I played like a game in front of a bunch of people, because it was called Clean Slate. And the City of Pittsburgh Housing Authority has started this drug-free initiative. And the drug-free initiative, they would have police fix bikes for kids. Um,
Oh,
we would do
right.
we would have benefit games. It was all like a one big weekend. You would have guest speakers come in. Like the one year it was Morris Chestnut. My man that played in Soul Food, he played Lemon Soul Food. He was there. Um, what's
Like a
the
celebrity game, huh?
Yeah, it was a slip. Yeah, that was at Peabody because I remember I played in that because
Mm-hmm.
not Master P, but he was one of the he could hoop, but he's from New Orleans. He's one of the, and I was like, oh, you got game. He started laughing. He's one of the, he came from that no
Definitely not
limit,
here, huh?
that no limit. He's with
No
down with
limit,
them.
yeah. Master
Yeah,
P and all
yeah,
them.
yeah. I can't remember who it was. I can't remember his name off the top right now. But and then we did the one up the field house. Did one at the field house the following year, and that was the last time. I used to go up Shenley and play Sunday mornings, but I started trying to power lift. So when I started powerlifting, I couldn't keep losing the weight like I was losing it from hooping too. So I'm lifting, but I'm hooping, and that don't mix.
Yeah,
Powerlifting,
you was a
powerlifting,
beast
and
on the weights though.
yeah, I had to make a choice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you do the powerlifting because you ain't gonna play
I ain't
in
hooping
the
no more.
summer leagues.
No, I ain't doing
Them
that.
days is over with, huh?
Right. Right. So I just mind, so, but yeah, so I just want, me and you, we workout partners. We've stayed in touch I mean, since then, man, there's stuff we got closer after we played against each other.
Ain't that
You know,
something?
yeah, it's
We knew each
crazy.
other, but we didn't
We
get real close
we
until
knew of,
after we
yeah,
played.
right, right. So, and it's been a lovely thing, man. It has. The friendship is, and the friendship is great. So, what are you doing now, though? Tell them what you're doing now, and tell them how working with this high risk individuals.
Yes, I worked with the county. I did working out juvenile probation house arrest. I did that for about 19 years, and then I left. Then I went and worked with AFN, Allegheny Family Network, as a father advocate, support partner for fathers with kids with mental health and diagnoses, and provide services for them,
Mm-hmm.
for their families and their kids with these mental health issues. And yeah, I've been doing that now. I did that for about 5 years after I left the county, and I do it part time now because it's kind of ironic. I did that for 5 years, but I always got a heart to working with males, whether they're youth or adults.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came back to the county. I'm a guard now,
Mm-hmm.
so I come back for 10 more years. And guess where I'm working at part time? AFN. I'm still a father advocate, and I tell you, man, I get more out of helping people and working with the young males or the adult males, the older males, more than anything else I ever did, man. It's fulfilling. And I know that God basically, I went on this journey as an athlete. I got to see the world playing ball. It took me a lot of different places. I got to meet a lot of people, play against a lot of guys that are like, I didn't tell you this, but I don't want to jump around. If you look at that picture that I sent you, the Canisius team, we took them pictures. No one really realizes this, but when McCarthy was my head coach, guess who was the assistant associate coach, head coach?
Oh,
Van Gundy.
Van Gundy's the
Van
the
Gundy.
the one that coached the
Gundy was,
Knicks,
yes, the Knicks and the Magic and
because
the
it's
Heat.
okay.
Yeah, he was our assistant
Because he
coach.
got a brother too, right? But his brother,
Yes.
not
His brother coached the Knicks and he did
yeah.
the commentating.
Okay, yeah.
And Van
Oh,
Gundy, he's still,
but
hmm
so the one that was an assistant was the heavier one.
yes, the short, stocky one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
He was
Okay.
he was our assistant coach. And then guess who was the grad assistant coach?
Ooh.
McConnell.
Oh wow.
Tim McConnell.
Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, you was around a lot of
Uh,
guys.
Yeah, I know a lot of people, man, just from
Yeah.
playing ball at college uh
Yeah.
yeah, that's something McConnell and then I think Van Gundy, did he take the job he took the job at Wisconsin University, remember?
Uh.
When he left Canisius, he took the job he got into Wisconsin. Remember he was coaching them?
Mm-hmm.
And then he ended up going into the pros and coaching them, Howard and all them guys.
He's better than he needs to stay at that level. Some of those guys don't make good college coaches because they'll break they'll break rules. The pro game's a little different. You know,
But Jay, I wanted to say this. I do have a video out. It's on YouTube. When we
okay,
played against Canisius. I mean, we played against Cleveland State.
yeah, I seen that. I watched that.
Yes, and I do. It's kind of ironic. One day I was just happened to be, just hanging around, and I just was like, I googled my name because if you Google my name, it comes up obviously
Mm-hmm.
on YouTube, and here it was. It was us versus Cleveland State. They went to the Final 16 the year before that.
Mouse McFadden,
Mouse McFadden and them.
right?
So I got the video, and I just happened to be Google. I said, "Well, let me Google my name," and that game came up.
Yeah,
How about that?
you got off, man, because I was watching it, and then I got another. I got another version. It's a shorter version. It's like the second half. Uh, I want to say there's maybe 8 minutes or maybe less than that left in the game. And
You got the other one. You didn't get the copy with McCarthy on the front.
I got your copy, and I got the one that I pulled down from somebody else that put it up because a couple people put that up.
Right.
Somebody, the one guy who put it up, he locked it up, so I can't share it, I can't chop it, and the other one can't do it either. So, but I definitely got to see that game against Cleveland State, they were pretty good, and they couldn't handle you, you know. And
Hey Jay, I better tell you something, man. That was right before all that went, before all that situation happened with Taggart, man.
you let him in scoring that night, right?
I led him in scoring. I think I had like 22 or something,
Something like that.
23,
Yeah, it was a
about
good
10
game.
rebounds.
It was a good
And
game.
it's kind of weird because I was like, at that point, I had knew that I was like, man, I could really be. I had a lot of confidence, and after that game, I was like, man, I can dominate in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
because that was like a breakout game for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew then I could play at I could play at a high level, but the journey,
Yeah,
you know,
it is what it is.
it is what it is. Yep,
Yeah, it is what it is. But
it is what it is.
you know, but I like to say this before we get off of here. I want to bring up Vegas again because most basketball playing kids, I don't know about now, probably not, but back when we were coming up and in the '70s, something about Tarkanian, man, he loved Pittsburgh.
Yes,
And he loved recruiting out of Pittsburgh. He loved recruiting New York guys and Pittsburgh guys. You know, um, he had Jeep. For those who don't
Larry
know,
Anderson.
Larry Anderson, but Leroy, what's Jeep's last name? Kelly. Jeep Kelly, right? In the early '70s, and the crazy story. A lot of people don't realize how he came about Jeep. It was at a round ball game, one of the very first games. So we're
Wow,
talking. The first game was played 1966. Calvin Murphy was the MVP, right?
wow.
Yeah, I'm a
Round ball classics.
mm-hmm, PA round ball team, round ball classic. But Calvin Murphy was from New York. He played for the U.S. team. But you had that, and then you in 71 or 72, Jeep was a ball boy. He was in the 8th grade, and
Wow.
he was a ball boy at the round ball tryouts over there at the. I think they were still at the campus, CCAC, on the north side, and they needed a player. Something happened. They needed a player, and somebody said, "Hey, get out there." He gets out there and he's killing them,
What?
and they're going hard against him. And Tarkanian's like, "What's his name?" And like, he's Jerry. Jerry, he's only in 8th grade. He's like, okay. He ends up recruiting him, takes him to Vegas, right? And we know Jeep was a legend. He's a legend in
Yes.
Pittsburgh.
Jeep was on the Sports Illustrated, wasn't he?
Yeah. I
Was
mean, he
that?
was. It was. I don't know about the Sports Illustrated, but he was in a lot of publications. Period.
Yes.
He was one of the best players in the country. And when he was in high school, and,
Yes.
and
He's a phenomenon, man.
yeah.
Of the city of Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm. And
So
then
you're right. They had that connection.
from then,
Yeah,
and
because
then
Tim Gergevich. See, people don't realize Gergevich played. He coached everywhere. The NBA,
Pitt.
college, Pitt. Head coach of
Mm-hmm.
Pitt.
Mm-hmm.
NBA. He coached Carmelo and Iverson and all them for years. Stacey Augmon and all them guys. See, they were all there when they was recruiting me. They was loaded. They had Stacey Augmon. They had Armin Gilliam, Fast Freddie Banks. They had Anthony Anderson Hunt, Greg Anthony, Richie Adams, Armin the Hammer, Jarvis Bass. Like they was loaded,
And trying to add
and
you.
they was recruiting me heavy. And when I went out to the visit, it's kind of weird. I told you this, but when we did it's a place called the Market House. That's where all the players, even the guys that played in the NBA, come back and play. And then Tark will have guys play in front of him and whatever, the coaches. And we was picking our team, and then there's this skinny guy over there shooting a jump shot. I said, man, who is that? Jimmy Walker, JJ Walker? And it was JJ Walker's from Good Time. The brothers can hoop. I told you about that, didn't I, Jay?
You did.
The brother could hoop his butt off. I couldn't believe it, man. I was like, this is crazy.
You think you're going to hear Kid Dynamite, and he's like, he up here throwing up jumpers. He can hoop. He just ain't all laughs.
No, man. I was tickled, man, because the brother he got hoop game, man.
Yeah,
I was shocked. I couldn't take him. I couldn't take him serious, man.
You kept seeing the hat. Yeah, and Dynamite. I would have been. I would have lost it too.
Yeah, I
Especially,
was.
especially if he would have took somebody to the basket and made him look bad. I would have been. Don't talk to me. You just got took to the hoop by JJ Kid Dynamite Walker. So you ain't got nothing else to say to me. I don't care
And
if you
Jay,
got.
man, I was like, I couldn't believe it, man. It was just.
Yeah, man.
I looked over. I had to look twice. I'm like, is that Jimmy Walker? And it sure was, man.
It was
Nice
him.
guy.
And they're
And could
balling.
hoop.
And then they're
And
balling
could
with
ball
y'all.
too. And could ball.
But tell
Could
him
play with us, you know.
before we get that's the last one, man. And Armin Gilliam, I remember him playing at Bethel Park sophomore year when I was at Penn Hills, and he was a senior at Bethel Park, and he had never. We didn't know at the time, but it came out that he had really never played basketball before. He was just a big 6'9". He was a wrestler. A lot of people don't realize that he was a wrestler. The
All
dude,
state, wasn't
all
he?
state wrestler at Bethel Park, and he was I think he was 6'7" or 6'8". He started growing. He grew 2 more inches. They're like, we got to put a basketball in your hand. So I remember playing him against him that night. I didn't play. I was a sophomore, but I'm watching the game from the
At
bench.
Penn Hills, when you was at Penn
Yeah,
Hills?
yeah. And we played them. Mark and them were seniors. Mark Knight and Aaron, not Aaron. Mark was a senior. Gary White. Gary White?
Mm-hmm.
He was a senior on that team. We only had 3 seniors on that team: Dal Meisenhauer, Mark Knight, and Gary White. All the rest were juniors and sophomores. And he was just big. We like, dang, he's sad. You know what I'm saying? Lost track of him. And then he ended up at Independence Community College in Kansas. And
So
I
what
knew
was this game like? I heard he couldn't shoot or nothing, huh?
he just was a big rebounding dude. He was
Just a big
strong.
physical specimen, huh?
Yeah, he didn't know the game. He didn't have any post moves, nothing. He didn't know. You could tell he did not know the game. He was just learning the game. They said he had just
Wow.
picked up a ball like 10th grade. They had just put a ball, so he was still learning, and
Mm-hmm.
he had never played basketball before, and not at least not seriously, you know. Um, but he went to Independence Community College here in well, not here. I'm in Missouri, but he's in the Kansas side. The Jayhawk Conference, which is a hell of a junior college basketball conference.
Yes. Independence, Kansas, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Chapman went there. Henry Chapman.
Yeah, Henry Chapman, yeah, from Cary. That's my boy Henry.
Yep.
Wow, I forgot Henry went there.
Yeah, because I was gonna go to Garden City. Garden
Mm-hmm.
City's in Kansas too, so it's like, it's a lot of good basketball. But
That was big time back then.
yeah, Jayhawk is still good basketball, but he ended up Tarkanian. He must have got a lot better because when he played his junior year at Vegas, he didn't look like he could hoop. So
Yeah, he was a beast.
yeah, so you couldn't even if I tell people how he looked in high school to how he looked when he played for Vegas, they wouldn't believe me
No,
because
there's no way they would believe you.
nah, but it's true. He didn't play the game well, but when he got to Vegas, he could play. So he did 2 years at Independence Community College, and then he went to Vegas and played his last 2 years at Vegas, and the rest is history there. He had him and Stacey Ogman. They had a good team, you know. And
They ended up losing to the Final Four to Indiana.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Bobby Knight, that team, they was loaded too.
They was Keith Smart
and all them guys.
Keith Smart hit the jump shot against Syracuse from the corner. Yeah, they knocked off Armin and them the round before to see who was going to the Final Four, you know. But yeah, Armin. But tell us about the Market House story with Armin, real quick, and we're gonna get off here. We're gonna finish it up with this.
Okay. Armin was my chaperone, so me and Armin had got real close, and because I had flew out there 3 times, and so the one time I flew out there, this was like the second time, and then the time after that, I was flying from near to California, where Tark had me with his best friend, who was the coach of my junior college.
Mm-hmm.
So the second time I went out there, Armin was my chaperone again because we both was from Pittsburgh. And by that time, me and him make it that close. So we was playing pickup, and he was watching me. And he started talking trash to me. Oh, young boy, you can't handle this. I'm a man. You can't. I'm too physical for you. You can't handle it. Jay, he got me mad. And when I get mad, you know what I'm gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I dunked on him so hard. they like stopped the game and they was like all like, oh, laughing and stuff. He got mad at me.
Mm-hmm.
He got mad at me
What
and
did
wanted to
Tark do?
fight me.
What did Tark
Tark
do?
was like, Tark was like just standing there like, come on, guys.
Uh-huh.
Encourage them. That ain't that serious. Y'all just a pickup game. But he got mad at me and wanted to fight me. And I was like, Armin, you started talking trash to me. You started this.
Yeah.
So we ended up walking walking back to the hotel or whatever. We went outside, we walked back, and he was like, you know what, man? We just didn't even talk about it. We it was just something that happened. We still cool. But it was ironic that I slammed on him the way that I did. And it was like, not to be like, bragging or anything, but
No, no, no.
it was Jay, but the thing is it's kind of wild because he started talking to me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you a young boy. You don't want none of this. I was like, what? Don't you know I played at Connie Hawkins and all that straight out of high school? And it was dominating, right?
Playing against grown men.
Playing against grown men, John Marshall and all them guys. So this ain't nothing for me.
Yeah, this ain't nothing, baby.
You
I
know,
dunk on them, I dunk on you.
Bobby
Yeah.
Bird and all them guys.
Yeah. If they can
You're
get
right.
dunked on, you can get dunked on.
Yeah, I dunked on him. Hey, Jay, it was nasty. It was off of two puppies with one hand, with the claw,
Oh. Just punched it on
But
him.
I think ever since that, he was looked at me a little different after that. He was
Yeah,
like,
he
man,
got
this
to
guy.
see your resume when he was for real. Tarkanian ain't bringing no bums out here. Tark just didn't do that. You can't. Ain't no way in the world Tark was recruiting bums. If he bring you in, you could play.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So hey,
I think what it was I think I was actually beating on him, and I think he got mad. That's when I think about it.
oh,
You know how that goes. I think he was
and,
getting mad that I was, you know, beating on him in front of his, the coach and all that.
and you a youngin.
And I was young. I was what, 18, 19 years old, man.
Yeah. He already done played and yeah. So
But
hey,
we got real tight after that though,
I
Jay.
believe it. I didn't really know him. I just knew him from watching him play at Vegas, and the one time that we played against him in high school when he was at Bethel Park. I didn't really get to meet him and know him like that. But everybody I
Yeah.
talked to that knew him said he was really good, man. He's a really good guy, man.
Yes. He used to come back when I was working with the guys. When I first came back, I was working with Allegheny Academy. It was like a summit academy where they would stay for 6 months.
We played
The
him in high
guys,
school.
yeah, he came out there because I was already out there, and I called him. I said, "Come on out, meet the guys." He came out there to the Summit Academy out there in the library, out Bethel Park,
Okay. Yeah.
and he came and visited and talked to the guys. Man, he was like real happy, man. I was excited that because Ron Stevenson was out there. You remember Big Ron
Mm-hmm.
from Langley?
Yeah, Big Ronnie. Mm-hmm.
Big Ronnie Stevenson was out there with me, and now I told him Armin was going to come in and talk to the guys. Man, he came in, he signed some autographs, and he hung out with us. Man, Armin was a good guy, man. I was really, I was really blown away when I heard, what happened.
Yeah, I was shocked.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, I was shocked. Because I think it caught a lot of people off guard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I think it did. Because he was still playing in the league. I think he was. I
I
think he
think
was.
he was he still playing. He might have been, but I know he was playing out at the was it the L.A. Fitness out
Uh,
Bridgeville or something?
I know because maybe so. Yeah, he was out there working out. That's right. Yeah. But because he was with the Nets, the New Jersey Nets, before he came over to Brooklyn. Um, yeah, man, he's a good guy from what I hear.
Yeah.
He was a good guy. But yeah, man. So I am so glad that you can be on here, man. And then I'm gonna have this on all the social media sites for everybody to see this story of Marvin Bailey's journey, and we'll have more like it here at all sports related. Uh, it's a situation where I'm gonna have guests come on here sometimes and talk about their journey in sports, and I think he did an excellent job today. And I appreciate you being there, man, and coming on the show for me, and taking the time out to tell people about how it was for you, stuff that people may not know. You
Right.
know, um, So I appreciate you, Marv, and you have a good weekend, man.
Hey, Jay, I appreciate you for having me, man. Always.
Okay, brother.
Take care, brother.
All right. Yep.
Yes, sir, my man.
Uh-huh.